outrageous on-air comments helped make a legend of radio host Howard Stern. So how does that reputation stack up today? Let's find out with Tracy Smith.
This is what heaven might look like when you finally get there as a broadcaster.
This is the house that Howard Stern built.
This is my favorite channel on Sirius.
Over the past 13 years, the so-called shock jock has helped Sirius XM satellite radio grow from a fledgling experiment into a 33 million subscriber empire. But diehard fans know the more shocking development may be the evolution of 65-year-old Stern himself.
People assumed I'd come here and it would be the raunchiest show on the planet.
Right, that you'd go totally X-rated.
Yeah. No, that's boring.
Ladies, what would your man say is your biggest turn on?
Sure, there are still plenty of juvenile bits about sex and bathroom habits, but there are also moments like this. Actress Charlize Theron talking about how a Hollywood producer hit on her.
I knocked on the door and he opened up the door and he was in his pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
And then we sat down and we started talking. He sat very close to me. That was strange. The drinking bothered me. I was like, doesn't feel right.
Time and time again, when celebrities sit down in Howard's studio, they reveal personal stories they maybe haven't shared with anyone else.
You had it.
I had prostate cancer a couple of years ago.
Why do you think it is that celebrities open up to you?
I think what happens is and I've spent a lot of time reflecting on this. You know, my whole career has been about honesty, painful honesty. You know, penis size, insecurities. I hate the way I look. Like right now, I'm so aware of this camera and I have my glasses off and I look horrible.
You don't?
Yeah, well, thank you, but I feel that way. And so, you know, I think that kind of honesty, when people walk in, they feel that expectation that maybe they should open up.
As we saw in his movie, Private Parts.
Hi, Robin.
Yeah.
We back on the air?
Yeah, everybody can hear.
Okay, I'm right outside Pig Vomit's office. I'm gonna knock on his door.
Howard Stern changed radio itself by sharing everything, no matter how cringeworthy. He interviewed strippers, became a superhero named Fart Man. It made for great ratings, but a mess of a personal life.
I was childish, a narcissist. My life was in crisis. I got a divorce. I have 3 daughters. I was concerned about what does life look like now? How am I a good parent on my own?
So several years ago, he started seeing a psychotherapist and wound up going 4 times a week.
Are you happy now?
I'm a lot happier now. I'm still pretty miserable. You know, there's still an angry guy in here somewhere, but I've learned to have a conversation with him and kind of live with him.
But he also lives with guilt about how he treated some guests.
So in the past, you saw your interview subjects as?
I saw them as an annoyance and people who get in the way.
You say that one of your biggest regrets is Robin Williams.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of regrets. I wanted to call him and say, listen, I'm a huge fan of yours. And when you came in my studio, I was insane. I was not in the right mind to do an interview with you. You came in so open and ready to perform. And that should have been celebrated. And oddly enough, I said to my wife that morning, I'm gonna get on this. And then I believe it was either that day or the next day or whatever, but he killed himself. And I never got the chance to apologize. And I just wish I could have, you know.
How are you?
Today, Stern does extensive research, so by the time a guest hits the couch, he knows just what to ask.
Do you feel like you're a therapist in a way?
Some people have said to me, oh, I didn't know we were going to do a therapy session.
Do you suffer from depression? I mean, are you medicated?
I'm medicated.
You are?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to hurt people's feelings?
No, I don't. I'm not after, you know, I think there's this impression that I'm after some kind of gotcha moment or something. I'm not. I'm after really having a great conversation with someone.
He's compiled his favorite interviews into a book with a title that shows he hasn't changed that much. It's published by Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS.
Yes, of course! Oh my God! So what do you say to those folks who dismiss you as this vulgar guy? Oh, I'm not going to read his book because he's that, you know, potty mouth guy.
Well, I'd like to say to them that I think if they read this book, and you can learn something from, What was it that drove them? What are they struggling with?
That way.
There's a lot of human drama
That's a
in these
long story.
conversations.
But there was a meeting where John came in and said, hey guys, I'm leaving the group.
Along with big gets like Paul McCartney and Madonna.
Oh, that's how I flirt with people.
Look at that, multi-billionaire Donald Trump.
The book includes several interviews with Donald Trump from the 1990s until right before the election.
Donald knows how to communicate.
You say he's one of the best guests.
He is one of the best guests ever. Why? Because as a radio guest, he says whatever pops into his mind, and he understands how to play that game.
So he's a great radio guest. What do you think of him as a president?
Well, listen, he asked me to endorse him, and I couldn't.
You couldn't.
I couldn't. Donald and I disagree on a lot of things. And I had to say to Donald on the phone, it was uncomfortable, I can't endorse you. I always had a good feeling about Donald. But the presidency is a different story. You know, I don't sense his passion for it. I think he'd much rather be at Mar-a-Lago. I've been to Mar-a-Lago and had dinner there. It's fantastic. It's like a dream. Why would you want to leave? Look at them. And they're all pretending to work. No.
Today, Stern has a staff of about 60.
All right, time for news with Robin.
All right, the big news is
Sidekick Robin Quivers has been with him from the beginning, and when she recently faced down cancer, it shook him.
Did you allow yourself to think about, what if I lose her?
I cried. I cried like a baby. It was horrible. I just lost it. I couldn't control myself. I was like, oh my God, Robin, I'm going to lose Robin, you know. I couldn't imagine my life without her. I don't know that I would even continue to do a radio show if I lose Robin. I don't know how that would look. And then we have a whole big staging area back here.
And then there was his own health scare. When he missed a day of work in 2017, he said he had the flu. But in truth, he had surgery because doctors suspected a spot on his kidney was cancer.
The weird thing about it was I couldn't admit it to the audience. I was afraid to.
Why?
I didn't want to admit that I was somehow getting older, and you know, it brought out a lot of issues. I wasn't indestructible, I'm not Superman, I'm human, and it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Turns out it wasn't cancer. And while he may not be Superman, he and his wife Beth are heroes of a sort to a rather astounding number of rescue animals.
Now we've had over 1,000 cats come through our house, and we've gotten homes for all of them.
1,000 cats.
Yeah, Fart Man now helps cats.
Seems like a fitting image for the evolved Howard Stern. Declawed, maybe, but sharper than ever.
Well, it sounds to me that part of this evolution is allowing you to get close to other people.
Yeah, I'm able to
right?
I'm able to tell people what I think of them and how important they are without feeling ashamed. You know, it's just for so many years I was afraid to feel attachment, and now I'm open to the idea of being a human being.